Welcome to SharePoint Mastery Showcase, Episode 11, SharePoint 2007 Beginner Project 1, Part 5, with your host, Keith Hudson. At SharePoint Mastery, we help you master SharePoint one step at a time so you can control your own destiny.
Music by Kevin MacLeod.
This is Part 5 of SharePoint 2007 Beginner Project 1, how to design and build a simple help desk ticketing system in under 4 hours, even if you've never used SharePoint before. So far in this series, we have taught you a method for analyzing a business process, how to create a new SharePoint 2007 site, how to navigate in a SharePoint 2007 site, and how to edit the top-line menu. We're now going to teach you how to build a custom list based on the objects that we determined in our analysis would be needed for our system, although our primary object is our problem ticket, and that will be our primary list within our SharePoint solution. Let's build the desktop technician list first. Going back to our project design workbook, under the Objects tab, we see that our desktop technician list needs name, email address, and building responsibility for the desktop technician. So in our site, we go to Site Actions, Create, and then under the Custom Lists section, we click Custom List. We will name our list Desktop Technician, remembering not to use a space. Our description is List of Desktop Technicians. We will accept the default to have this list displayed on the quick launch, and we'll create the list. Now we will go back into the list settings by clicking on Settings, List Settings, go to the title, description, and navigation, and insert the space back into the name of our list. We're now in the list settings for the desktop technician list. You'll notice that we already have a column for a title, created by, and modified by. You'll notice my title actually includes the extra word description. Remember when I told you that if you're working in your own site collection, you can't do any damage to another SharePoint site collection? The particular hosted service I use here does not allow me to create multiple site collections. So all of the sites I create in this environment are within a single site collection. When I was first learning SharePoint, I accidentally changed the name of the title column for every single list everywhere in this SharePoint environment. Because the word title is a reserved word for SharePoint, I couldn't change the default back to say title, so I changed it to say title, brackets, description, close brackets. The only other way to fix that mistake, short of a tricky programming fix, would have been to delete 15 or 20 sites that I had already created and then rebuild them from scratch. I hope you will learn from my mistake and become a passionate supporter of single-purpose site collections. Although I couldn't change the name of the title column default, we can in fact change the name of this title column, and so I'll go back into this title column. We want this to be the technician's name, so we'll call it technician name. Now this is the title column. I can put spaces in it because the static name, that name that's first created by SharePoint and never changes, is title. Sorry, in my case it's probably title, description. So there's the technician name column. Now we're going to need a column for email address. To keep it simple, I'm just going to call it email. I'll leave it as a single line of text and say OK. And then I'll create another column for building responsibility. I'm just going to call it building, and I'm going to make this a choice column. A choice column allows me to specify, I'll put here building to which technician is assigned as my description, and down here I'll enter the building choices, building 1, building 2, and building 3. Then I'll delete all the other choices that were put there as examples by Microsoft. I'll leave it as a drop-down menu, and in this case I want to have no default value showing up when I enter the list. Click OK, and my desktop technician list looks like this. So here's the name of the list. Here are the column headers. Let's go ahead and add our desktop technicians to this list. We'll need them for testing later. I click on the New button. This is called the menu bar. I click on New, and it opens up the New Item dialog box. Our first technician will be John Adams. His email is john.adams@spmastery.com, and he's responsible for building 1. So I'll select that from the drop-down. I'll pause the video and enter 2 more technicians. Now you can see all 3 technicians on our list of desktop technicians. Great, we're now ready to move on to part 6 and build our problem ticket list. Thank you for joining us for this episode of SharePoint Mastery Showcase, presented by SharePoint Mastery, where we help you master SharePoint one step at a time so you can control your own destiny. Come visit us at www.spmastery.com.